Hey everybody. All right, so today we're going to make some masks. So I have been working hard. That's why I haven't been doing any videos, but I've been working on making some masks. There's lots of local people, a few people have sent for some, and I did send a few to the hospital and stuff too, and they really appreciated it. So that's why I think like this might be a good one to share with you guys. All right, and I did want to do a little disclaimer that this is probably going to be clumsy, a little bit awkward, trying to show you guys everything, but I've had lots of people ask, so I really felt like I would just do the best that I could to show you guys what I've been doing, okay? So first off, I'm working with two different materials. I do that so then, okay, here, let me show you what we're making. All right, so this is an example of the masks we're making, okay? All right, so obviously I have a really cute material, which of course makes it look so much better for this video, but you can use pretty much any material. Let me show you. I have some guys ones with some eagles on it and stuff like that. So there's lots of varieties that you can do, whatever material you have. And I did like having two different materials. And so what that does is that gives you a front. See, if you look on the back, it doesn't have the edging on it. And so that helps you know which side your face has been on and what has been exposed. So that was something that I thought was a plus. Lots of people have been doing lots of different masks, so there's almost no wrong way to do it. You just want to make sure that there's something covering your face so you're not getting the immediate things that are floating around, that you're not getting immediate on your face, right? All right, so this is what we're going to be doing. The pleats. Don't get overwhelmed by them. You guys know me. I try and keep everything super simple, so we're not going to do crazy measurements or anything like that. We're going to work together on it, right? So this is what we're aiming for. All right, so to start off with, I'm gonna show you the big piece of material that we're using for our middle. And so it's actually like this nice big rectangle. All right, and you will want an iron for this, especially if you're digging all your material out from who knows where, right? So then we can flatten things out to make them easier to work with. And so this piece is our big piece, like I said, and I actually ended up just cutting out, because like I said, I've been making quite a few of them, so if you have a family and you're making several, this might be an easy way. If you guys have some poster board or Bristol board, lots of people have different names for it, but you know, the thicker, kind of more like cardstock thick. Okay, so this is just 9 by 14. And so I just did my best to sketch it out once more. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be close to that amount. So 9 by 14 inches, okay? All right, so that's what we're starting off with. And I'm just gonna quickly iron it because mine has wrinkles. So I got my iron here. And I know you guys can't see it, but I'm just making it flat. So nothing special, just I probably should have done it before the video, okay? All right, so then we also have to cut out our side pieces, right? Okay, so what those are gonna look like is like this, okay? But once we get it folded, so I have it traced out on my material here, and I'm just gonna quickly cut it out, and then I'll show you guys. Sorry, and let me know if you're having trouble seeing something. Make sure if you're having trouble seeing, you swipe the comments to the right, okay, if you are on your phone. All right, so okay, I should give you the measurements for that. So that's what I cut out once more, just out of the poster board. All right, and so that's my side, so you'll want to do 2 of these and 1 of the big ones. All right, and let me just quickly measure that for you guys. I think it was, yeah, 2 inches by just under 6 inches, so about 6 inches. Having a little bit extra, there is an opportunity to just kind of quickly snip that off at the closer to the end, okay? So right around 2 by 6 inches, and like I said, you need 2 of those. So I'm just gonna quickly cut those, and like I said, this might end up being a bit long just because I want to make sure that you guys know what we're doing, you know exactly why we're doing it all. All right. Snipping. And like I said, there's lots of different ways to do masks right now, so if this one still feels a little overwhelming to you, there is another one that I'm going to check if I can do, and I might do another video to show you that one. All right, so that's what we got right now, right? Set this one aside. Make sure you guys can see ironing here. All right, so I'm going to iron it flat again. All right, so just making it flat. All right, I know it's kind of hard to see pink on pink. I probably should have picked a different color. All right, so that's my wrong side, so it's a little bit lighter. That's the right side. And so I want to see the right side, and I'm just folding it in half across. Do you guys see that? All right, so, and that's where I'm gonna iron it, and then I'm gonna set them aside, okay? So like I said, make sure you're doing 2 of these because they're gonna be our edges, so you'll need them for either side. All right, so the one I prepped, the one that's ready, okay? I'm gonna set this aside so I remember to cut out that second one later. Okay. All right, and then we're also gonna go ahead while we're over here at the iron. We're gonna look at this. So this is the wrong side. This is the pretty right side. As you can see, I did a great job ironing. Like I said, it's mostly just to get it close. So I'm just gonna fold it exactly in half the best I can. There's a little bit of extra. It's okay. There's other places where we'll be able to trim it up, okay? All right, and so I'm just gonna, oh, sorry you guys. So I'm just folding it in half, and I'm doing it the wrong way. Sorry you guys. All right, we want the wrong side out. There we go. All right, so I'm doing this just so then it is easier to work with as I put it through the sewing machine, okay? All right, so we're gonna do this. Nice crease, and so that stays flat for me. I'm gonna pull up my sewing machine so then we can hopefully get it in the picture a bit better for you guys. All right, so we got this sewing machine, get it on, and we don't need much room, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it all the way to the side. So you usually have the 3 options of where your needle will sit. So if you look as I move it, my needle moves across, so we want to keep it all the way to the inside where I'm going to be going across, all right? And, sorry, move my pedal. I think my kids were, oh, you know what? I'm having trouble stretching that far. There we go. All right, get this, and we're just going to do a zip across. I like to back stitch everything because it just makes me feel like it's going to be safer. All right, so we're just doing one line, just pretty much getting that fold to close, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and back stitch the end of it too, okay? All right, so this is what my oldest and I have been doing almost nonstop the last few days. All right, I'm going to go ahead and snip off the extra threads. All right, move back over here, and we're just going to pull this inside out, okay? So we're going to see the beautiful side again. All right, and there we go. All right. Let you see my smiling face. All right, here we go. All right, now one of the really important things about the masks that we're making is that we're gonna have a wire in them, okay? Because that's really important, because otherwise it's gonna be off your face, leaving it exposed for things to be able to get inside your mask. Of course, we don't want that, right? So we're gonna add in a wire. And y'all, I have literally been working with just what I have in the house. I've been really avoiding going out and getting anything. So I found some pipe cleaner, which was working perfectly. So it's a softer on the nose and everything, as well as is able to give you that shape so then it's against your face. And so if you cut a regular piece in half, it is like the perfect size, so then it doesn't go all the way across the mask, but gets that shape for you. Make sure I'm not losing things. I am totally losing things. There we go. All right, so what we're gonna do, this is where it does get a little bit tricky, is we are going to get this into it right now, okay? So as we slide it in, we're gonna put it, you know, look about where centered is gonna be, okay? And we're gonna pick one side. So as you see, when you look in, there's 2 different sides. So pick one side that you're gonna work with and try and keep it on the one side, okay? So it's about 1/2 inch in. And I'm gonna pinch it from this side, and I kind of like wiggle it a little bit so then I can see where it's at, and so I can get a little bit tighter on, so then when I sew it, it's not gonna be moving all about, okay? So I'm just gonna pin right close to where it is, all right? And then just pin out to make sure it's gonna hold, okay? All right, and so across there, honestly, when I was starting out, like I said, we've been making a lot of them, so I can get away with about 4 pins. But when I started, it was 6 pins across. So if you're doing 6 pins across, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just making sure it's good and stable as you're getting used to being able to do it. And so, like I said, you're picking one side of the two seams that are meeting in there. And I'm sorry if I'm using wrong terminology, just doing the best I can. Like I said, this is going to be a little rustic. If you find that it's moved a little bit, sometimes when you're trying to get the best thing, you just kind of scrunch it, hold it good on the side that needs a little more. And that's about right. All right, so now we're just gonna move on up here, get that last one in, and then we'll go back to sewing. All right, so that's what we got. We got it across there, and it's holding our wire up, and now we're gonna sew across there to keep that wire in. Oh dear, I opened that up. You're okay. All right, so back to our sewing machine, okay? And we're just gonna do the same amount. It doesn't need a whole lot of space because our wire is quite thin. If you feel more comfortable, you can give it a little bit more room. But once more, we're gonna do that back stitch to make sure it's holding. And just gonna sew across. Make sure that wire is on the right side. You can kind of feel it. All right. And back stitch. All right, so that gets our wire in. So most of the super basic masks that you guys are seeing won't have the wires in. So I hope like at least that you guys might be able to apply that to other masks that other designs that people are doing. So then you're able to get that against your nose. So I'm going to go ahead, take out these pins. All right. I'm used to moving around, not moving everything into the picture for y'all. All right, so I just realized I accidentally kind of killed the ironing on my side because I pushed it over with the machine. All right, so just ironing that back down. All right, so this is where it's going to get definitely a little bit more tricky. And why don't we go ahead and prep our elastic now. So I'm rethinking whether I should break a step into 2 for you guys because I started out with 2. All right, so at home, this is what I had. It's actually what I've been using. I think you guys have seen a couple of my posts about it, but I was making these cute elastic, hairband elastics to be able to share with people and to sell. And so thankfully I actually saved a whole pile of it. I was like, you know what, I'll save these for another time. And so that's what I am using. That's literally the only elastic I had in my house. So that's what I am using. Right now it's super hard to find elastic. So, if you guys have any tips of where we can find more elastic, that would be great because I am running out. And you know what, there's other ways you could do it. You could add ribbon or something to be able to do ties instead of the elastics. But we're using elastic for this one. Let me think. Okay, so size. We need the size of it for you guys, right? All right, so I've been pre-cutting these. I think I already have ones for this. Okay. So let's double check what the size is for it. And we're going to need 2 of these. So these ones are 6.5 inches, and this is the model I used. I cut one extra to be able to just go back and compare it to that one and save me some time. So 6.5 inches, and you'll need 2 of those for an elastic on either side, right? Okay, and we'll just set those aside for now, and we're going to go back to our big piece, and this is where the pleating is. And I know this is a little bit daunting for a lot of people, but don't get too overwhelmed. Like I said, we're going to keep it simple, make it easy, all right? So we've turned it back inside right. We've got our wire in. I'm just going to double iron it, make sure it's good after all that fiddling I've done. All right, and so for these pleats, gonna cheat and just kind of grab a little pinch of it. So, oh, you guys can't really see that. Let's see if I can get you back just a little bit more. There you go. All right, so this is what I've been doing, super easy. I'm just putting my fingers in on either side and just kind of pinching that and then folding it over. And then I kind of just look, see how even it is. All right, so that's more even. Just kind of do your best by eye, and we're going to iron that. And you do want to iron it after each one because it can come out pretty easy if you try to hold all of them. All right, so that's one pleat. Again, just the pinch. That's number 2 pleat. You can even do them closer and stuff. It's not a huge deal because the real thing is how wide it opens up to, right? All right, and then we're just going to do a little one at the bottom because I did those ones a little close together. All right, which happens, honestly, all of mine have turned out just a little bit different because this is a much quicker way to be able to get them all out. All right, so now we got them all ironed across. Make sure it's good and solid. We're just going to go ahead and flip that over. Okay, and I'm going to iron the back too just to get it all good. All right. So there we are. Okay, so this is a stage that I was telling you about that I'm debating on whether we should do it in 2 steps like I started, that it might be easier. So let me think. I think it might be okay. Let's go ahead and do it in 1 step because it is so much faster. All right, so I do have this placemat from the dollar store that has been a lifesaver for my poor desk. All right, so I'm just going to turn this so then we can all see a little bit better. All right, so now this is going to be our front where the lip is, where we started the pinching. So we're going to put it on the back, okay? So the top part should be where the folds are, okay? So it should be able to catch your finger in the fold, okay? Just to make sure you're getting the right side. All right, so what we're going to start with is we're going to hold it on one side and we're going to put 2 pins in. So we want to put a pin in the top pleat and the bottom pleat. I know it's a little weird that we're skipping the middle one for now, but don't worry, we're coming right back to it. All right, so then I want you guys to grab the border, the binding there, that is going to be our edging. And I want you to lay it about middle, make sure it's about the same amount hanging off on either side. And you want to pin that middle pleat while holding that one. So it's actually going to hold it in. I'll hold it up for you guys so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, there we go. All right, so we did the top pleat and the bottom pleat, and then the middle one, we laid that down and then did the middle one. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, and our pins are sticking out, and that will make it easier for the sewing. So doing the top one, the bottom one, and then grabbing my edging. Okay, laying that down, making sure the sides are about right. Double checking where my pleat is. You don't want to miss the pleat, and you don't want to miss the binding. Make sure you're getting both all the way through. Oh, that one didn't go all the way through. Okay. All right, so that's where we're at now, okay? We got them sticking out, and this is a great time to be able to trim up that binding a little bit. So what I looked at is about the same width of our thing is about how long you want it sticking out. So as you can see, this one's sticking out much further, and this one's sticking out much further. And so I'm just gonna trim them down a little bit. So just a little trim and a little trim. All right. Okay, so now we are going to add in our elastic. And so this is a really great stage. And like I said, we are cutting out a stage, which I think is just fabulous. So I got a nice dark elastic, got 2 of them, one for either side, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put it under that edging, okay? Make sure you put it in just a little bit, okay? And hold it. Okay, so this is the front. Make sure I'm showing you guys good. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm tucking it under. I'm putting it right over top. So we're going to take this and folding it all the way over, okay? All the way over. So go and cover the back. And make sure you're not pulling it too tight, okay? And then I'm just going to stick a pin from this side over. All right. That's what we're looking at. So we pinned it like that. And then we're going to make sure that we're still doing the right side. You don't want to get it twisted here, okay? This is something I've caught myself so many times. I'm like, quickly undo and fix that. All right, so let's see if I can do it upside down so you guys can see this better. All right. Let's see. Go like this, line it up. We're going to fold that over. It is definitely more clumsy doing it this way. All right, you guys see what I did there? And then we're going to tuck it around the back. Make sure we're holding it really good. And then let's see if I can pin it upside down. I'm not sure I can, y'all. All right. Let's see. I'll pin it. And then I'll double check it. All right, there we go, okay? I hope that was easier to see. Let me see. Oh, it actually came out okay. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, making sure, especially with this one, because one side is dull and one side is shiny. So I want to make sure that I'm doing it the same. And whichever one is laying flat is actually what's going to show up on the other side. That's what it's going to be on the front. So I'm using the same elastic for the men, and needless to say, they probably don't want it shiny. So I've been very careful to give them the dull side. All right, so I'm putting my elastic in again, folding the binding over, covering it up. Under, make sure my elastic is still there, and make sure I don't pin myself from going too fast. All right, and then we're gonna do the last one. All right, and try and make them about the same distance from the edge as on the other side. So try and keep them looking the same on either side. All right, so that's 10 pins in there right now, y'all. All right, so this is what we're looking at, right? Okay. All right, let's get our sewing machine. All right, make sure my pedal can still fit. There we go. All right, make sure you can all see. All right, so we're going to go ahead and sew along that one. For this one, I do like to go into the middle just to make it more solid. The original design that I saw was a little bit thinner, and I just felt like this one made me feel a little bit more comfortable, that it was a little bit more solid. All right, so it might get a little bit tricky for your machine because that is a lot of material piled up. That's what I do. I often just grab the pins on either side to kind of push it on through. All right, there we go. Make sure to get those back stitches in. All right, and go ahead and cut that. All right, so we just did our sew across. Sorry, it's getting stuck in my scissors. All right, and now we're gonna do the other side. Doing back stitch, going across, and just make sure, this is the only tricky part with that, is just make sure that the back one, that stays tucked under, okay? Otherwise it might get sewn up into it. So that back one, just as you get over the, let me see. Right as you get over the lip there, here, if I turn it sideways, maybe y'all can see it. When you get over the lip there, just make sure that it's still folded down and headed in the right direction. All right, back stitch. And that stage is done, y'all. All right. Push that over. All right, and then we get the fun of taking out all the pins, and like I said, we got 10 of them in there, so this might take a couple moments. And when I was doing a whole pile of them, my kids were in here and were adding too many pins to my poor little pin cushion that you can't even grab any because it's so clustered. But it is faster to do them if you do like one stage and do all of them at the same time if you're doing multiples. All right, so let's cut off this extra thread so it doesn't cause problems. All right, and then I'll show you where we're at. All right, here we go. So we've got this sewn, so it's all attached now, okay? All right, so now what we want to do is fold this out. So it's kind of like turning a pillowcase inside out, right? So we're just pulling that edge, okay? So it's kind of gonna stick out. Just pulling those corners. Okay, make sure you get it all out. Okay, and the other side. Did I get that? Looks all folded. There we go. All right, and then same thing on the other side. All right. This one. I get so nervous sometimes when I'm doing these videos, and sometimes I get things just a little off. All right, that should be okay. All right, so this is where we're at. Okay, so this might be a little bit hard to follow, so I'm going to make sure that you guys can see really well. All right, so this is still our back, okay? So we want to take that and fold it down, okay? And then the elastic will be sticking straight out the side, and then this will become our front, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pin that. Trying to remember which way I normally pin it. Okay, so let's get you down here so y'all can see. And remember, if you're having trouble seeing, swipe the comments to the right. All right. Give a little bit more space. All right, and so we'll need some more pins for this. So we're going to take that, like I said, we're going to fold it over, and this is going to become our front. Pull that elastic so then it gets better lined up. All right, and sometimes what happens is some of that under stuff is trying to stick out, so we're just going to tuck that in. All right, and so we do one near the top, tucking that in, one near the middle just to secure it. All right, and I'm going to try and do this one a little bit closer so you guys can see what I was talking about, okay? Hopefully I don't pin myself. All right, see how it's under and it's kind of sticking out like that? That part we want folded in. Okay, so that's why I'm just kind of tucking with my pin. Okay, hold it there, and then I'm totally going to stab myself. There we go. And then just pinning it back. All right, so we just tucked it in there. So then it's not sticking out. And then we're going to do the same thing with this side. Go ahead and pull it a bit. Kind of gives it an idea of where it's supposed to be folded. And then we fold it down. Fold it down really good. And this is going to be extra thick now, right, you guys? So a lot of sewing machines might not like it. Just kind of tug it through a little bit. Be gentle. And it should work out. And if you are concerned about that, then I strongly suggest that you do your bindings just a little bit bigger, and that will make it deeper so it's not going through quite as many layers, okay? So if you're really concerned about your machine, go ahead for like 2.5 inches, and that will give you just that little bit more leeway that your machine will probably be more comfortable with doing it. Okay. All right. Gonna tuck that in and pin it. And then I'll show you guys what we're at. All right, so this is the side we've been working on, right? The back. And now everything is flipped over onto the front, and our elastic is right out the side, okay? It's in between those, right out the side. All right, so we got our 6 pins in, and now we're ready to sew again. All right. All right, sorry you guys. Like I said, this was going to be a little bit clumsy. There we go. All right, now for this one, I found it easier. Make sure that you move your needle all the way back over. Okay, and I find it easier to go through this way. So it's a little bit backwards from all the other ones we put through, but it makes it easier to make sure we follow that line, okay? So we get nice close to the edge. Make sure you do that back stitch, and we're almost done. Back stitch, and here we go. And back stitch. All right, one side done. And let's do the other side. Okay. Lining it up. And this is probably the really unsafe way of doing it, sticking my fingers in there. So I usually just grab the pins to give it that little extra boost when it needs it. Because sometimes it does get a little thick with all those layers. Alright, back stitch. And that's about it, you guys. Alright, we'll take out our pins and snip things up. Alright. Machine weighs a ton, honestly. So I got that machine about 6 or 7 years ago, and it was 30 years old when I got it, and it was when I started sewing. So yeah, it's a bit of a beast. Alright, taking out our pins. And we'll snip off our extra. Get nice and close so you don't have to try and snip again. Nice and close. Things out of the way. All right, get one side, then the other, and some extra, and that's about it. All right. All right, and there you go. All right, and we got our wire in the top, right? And so that will fit, and I'll show you guys since it's all done. All right, and it's not going to go over your hair, so make sure you get your hair to your way. I can't tell you how many times with my kids I'm like, here, does this fit? And they're like trying to yank it over the hair. I'm like, just move your hair out of the way, you'll be fine. All right, so go ahead, put it on, hook around the ears, okay? And then you pull it down, pull it up, make sure to mold it to your nose. And there you go. And like I said, with the sides, you're able to tell which way's the front and which way is the back. So I went out today and it was nice to be able to breathe normal in my van, so I'd take it off. And so I was able to easily just put it back on because I knew which way was the front, which way was the back because of those sides. All right, you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help. And I think that's everything. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have anybody who needs this video, go ahead and share it. I think that's everything. Make sure you guys are being safe. I went out today, like I was saying, went to the grocery store, and there was about 30% of people wearing masks. So, you know, don't feel silly. I think that was the hardest thing for me, was breaking it. And what happened was I was going to the post office today, and I was very, a bit nervous about it already. And I pulled up, and the parking lot was like full, and I'm like, I am so putting on a mask. And so that was my breaking point. So make sure you guys decide that you're going to do it. Be brave. I know we're all going to look a little silly, but it's more important to be safe. All right, you guys, talk to y'all soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.